Hey, what's up guys? Jackson here from Toasty DIY, and it is actually a nice day out. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking this out today. So I live in Louisville, Kentucky, if any of you don't know, and it's gonna be in the 60s today, so yeah, taking the Roadster out. But just to show you guys a little update on what I have going on in the Z. So in last video we got the engine mounted in. Don't forget we got the wood back here, keeping it from basically doing a full 180 and just going straight down off the engine mounts. So I did actually replace the engine mounts with new ones, and I showed you guys last time how I had one that had a broken bolt in it, and I replaced both of those. Well, they were cheap mounts, and in the middle of putting the new ones on, I actually had one, well, really all the bolts. They're brand new stainless steel M8 by 125 bolts, and they were all just really hard to get in. I really should have tapped them out. I remember reading reviews about people saying you need to tap them out first because they're just cheap, and they painted inside of them after they were already drilled and everything, so it makes them all gunked up and really hard to screw in. And I was using a ratchet that was a little bit too big, so I totally screwed up and ended up snapping one of the bolts off after I'd already gotten the engine in. So there goes another like 2 hours of me trying to fix it, and I realized it was going to take me like another week and a half to get more engine mounts. So I ended up using one new one on that side, because luckily I only snapped one off on this side. And that one that I showed you guys where I had the bolt broken off into, that was an older mount, but it's an OEM mount. It's a good mount. I just, wanted new ones. I went ahead and was able to weld a nut to it after like 20 attempts and get that out. The new one that I bought, I tried that with, but that sucker was just so like tight in there after the head of the bolt broke off that it was not coming out. So I wasn't going to wait any longer. So, eventually I'll get around to replacing the mounts with actual good, maybe even OEM, like new NOS mounts or something. But yeah, so just a little update on what I got going on. So I took the charge pipe off, that's this guy right here, because originally these cars did not have an intercooler setup. They just had this charge pipe going off the turbo right into the intake, and then this tube down here that's basically feeding the turbo and everything the air intake, would have had, the airflow meter on it, and then it would have probably gone up here somewhere to basically an air filter where it sucked in all of its air. So the new plan from, because I'm not incredibly educated on turbos, being 100% honest, but I ordered that Mega Squirt kit. So I got the 3.57 whatever it was plug and play turbo kit. I just got like the base everything, it comes with the base tune, and I didn't order it with any of the extras, just the basic wiring harness. I also got the original wiring harness out as well. You can see this hole right down there was where the wiring harness went through. This was actually incredibly easy. So everything that plugs in was just sitting right here. There's one wire though that does run all the way over there to that junction box that you have to unplug, and then the wiring harness literally just pulls out through the engine bay once you unplug it from the ECU. It's really nice that it's all a separate thing from like the actual dash wiring harness, so it's very thankful for that. Yeah, long story short, that only took me about 20 to 30 minutes, so I wouldn't worry about that part. If you do plan on ordering the Mega Squirt kit, don't worry about the wiring harness part, because I was scared of it, and it was pretty easy. So, but yeah, I got the Radiator in here. So this is just a really basic, it's not a great brand or anything. I mean, it's just an eBay Radiator, but it's a direct bolt-in. Actually, you know what, it might not be eBay. I might have gotten it from Z-Car Depot, but they're all pretty freaking similar. They're kind of just universal, that you just weld aluminum brackets onto with some fittings that take M8 by 125 bolts. And so it's a direct fitment, and I think it's a little bit bigger than the factory Radiator, but it's aluminum, it's light, and it looks a heck of a lot nicer. I'm not too sure what this is. This just came on it. It's like some type of stamping on top that somehow got there, but I'm not really too worried about it. This is not a show car, obviously. It has some rust on it. But anyways, up here we have a really cheap, this was like 50, 60 bucks, intercooler. It's just an air intercooler, and this one just fits amazing. I mean, it's exactly the size I need it to be. I didn't do any research on this. I just got really lucky. So the stock 2 holes that were in the original body here, the radiator support, fit this perfectly with just 290s. So I also ordered a kit, which I'll just show you guys real quick. Ordered a kit that's like a basic 2.5 inch tubing and elbows and brackets and everything that you should need to be able to make yourself a nice intercooler kit. So you can see I used both elbows, so all we have left now is straight pieces, so hopefully that's enough. If not, we can get more stuff. But this is a really cheap kit as well. I mean, this, like I said, if you're going for a nice setup, this is not the stuff to go with. I recommend, vibrant tubing and vibrant clamps, V-band clamps and everything. These are obviously really like shitty T-bone style clamps or T-clamps. Yeah, these ones just aren't good. But for running like only 8 PSI and for this card just being not a show car at the moment, I'm really not worried about it. But yeah, it comes with a lot of aluminum tubing, and I mean it's light stuff. It's not very thick wall stuff for sure, and it's probably not very good quality. But about $80 for this kit, and then like I said, about $50 for the intercooler. It sure does beat ordering one of the pre-made kits that's also using generic stuff. So we're basically just using generic stuff, but we're going to do it on our own because it's a lot cheaper. Only a little less than $150 for everything. So. But the plan, though, is that this tube here is going to go in front of the radiator down. Hopefully we don't have to go straight down the side and then all the way down. There's going to be an electric fan here, though, so that's one difference, I guess you could say. And I'm not too sure how big the electric fan that I ordered is. I think it's like a 16-inch, which is a pretty big fan. But it is supposed to be low profile. It should only stick out about, I don't know, that far. So this should be room to fit 2.5-inch tubing under or over the fan. So that shouldn't be an issue. I'm going to hop back down here. So that tube, though, from over here will go under, and then that will go into that'll go off the turbo. So that tube will go, basically, the actual direction of airflow would be from here going in through the intercooler and then coming back out straight into the intake. That's the basic idea. That's from what I've seen most of the guys do. Obviously, we could run it, from here to the turbo, and then have the direction go this way and then into the intake. I mean, really, I guess you can do it either way. I really don't know if it matters much. But just from what I've seen, like a lot of the pre-made kits you can buy, like I said, it comes from the turbo into here and then from here into the intake. I'm not sure why they do it that way. I think I've seen it done the other ways, but I don't know. We'll figure something out. The only other thing I'm a little bit confused on is I actually ordered a turbo AFM for this because the AFM would have gone somewhere off this area for the air intake, so it knows how much fuel to add based on the amount of air it's getting. Well, I know that this Megasquirt kit comes with like a GM retrofit, I guess, some way to measure the airflow and everything. So I'm not too sure where that's supposed to go. I kind of get the weird feeling it's supposed to go off the what is this, TPS, like throttle position sensor, I guess it is. Which this right here is a really basic one. I don't think these even really did much besides let the fuel know when it can kind of cut out if you're like on the highway cruising. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think these did much back in the day. I mean, this was, you obviously on newer cars you don't have an wow, I'm really just butchering this. An airflow meter. You actually have like a throttle position sensor, or a mass airflow sensor, where it basically lets you know where the throttle's at what time and how much air is coming in. It's a lot simpler than having the giant box that sat here, because that is originally on this L28 or 280Z where the AFM would have sat, was right here. Like I said, I ordered a turbo one and it looks pretty similar, but I don't even understand like in the ZXs where those went. I'll probably just have to look up some pictures and do some research. But yeah, everything's coming together really nice. I mean, this just looks, I'll show you guys one more view before I cut the video off. But yeah, this is, I mean, it's crooked right now, and I plan on using these here with just some brackets to kind of even it out, and that'll hold it on there, because obviously you don't want to leave one of these just dangling here. It's just kind of ghetto. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video.